How are we doing, everybody? My name is Mike Dewan here with the Region Sports Network, and we are here at Andrean High School for a very special signing. Ben Novak has committed to Indiana University, the second team in the country. Ben, future Indiana Hoosier, state champion as well. How do those two sound together? That's what's been a heck of a week for you.
Just to be able to call myself a state champion is something not a lot of people can say. This team, we've molded so much throughout the past year. Ever since that loss against Adams Central, we just had to dig deep within ourselves, know how to be a leader, especially this senior group. This senior group has also gone, a long way. A lot of us were already in leadership groups, but as the journey went on, we realized we could be something special, and it was the senior group that really molded everything together. But being a state champion, being an Indiana Hoosier as well, I committed the prior week, but it's the best 2 weeks of my life. I'm very excited, very humbled, and I just can't wait to be a Hoosier.
You talked about the journey that this team has come from. It was last year, it was a loss to Adams Central on this home field. You guys avenged that loss not too long ago. Then state comes around and you guys are in an absolute heavyweight fight. What can you talk to me? It was a long week for you to begin with. I know you're one of the representatives down in Indianapolis on Monday. Then, of course, you have Thanksgiving. You have that 1 hour time slot on Wednesday. And then, of course, you got a game to play on Saturday. That whole week, and then, Ben, talk to me about that, as well as, of course, what happened on Saturday.
During that week, obviously, it was so much fun. For me personally, it was just about keeping my composure, making sure that the spotlight isn't too bright, and, making sure that taking deep breaths, realizing that this is just an ordinary football game. Yes, of course, we're playing on Lucas Oil Stadium, but keeping my composure, knowing that, my team and I will be able to handle this is, what really let me sit back and relax. We were under a very stressful, last couple, quarters, and realizing that, after we got stuffed on the 1 yard line twice before actually scoring, obviously some of us were really paranoid, but I was trying to be, that soft-spoken individual, just feeling, hey, it's football, it's going to happen, but it's how we come back from that really matters.
You talked about keeping composure. You're also kind of one of the leaders of the team. You went down, you're one of those representatives on Monday, and watching some of your guys' games throughout the season, you're one of the first guys out in the tunnel. You're one of the first guys out in the field, one of the rah-rah guys as well, and of course your play shows for it as well. What has that development been like, where it's nice to lean on guys when you're a junior and a sophomore, but now you're the senior, you're the guy, there is nobody to lean on, you are the guy that's often leaned on. So what was that like, that development like this year, taking, again, a new role, if you will?
That was one of the first things I had to learn. I've always been in a leadership position, I've always been an outspoken individual. Realizing that I have no one else to lean on after my seniors graduated, they were some of my best friends. I still hang out with them to this day. Realizing that I have no one else to lean on, and people are going to lean on me. And I have to be that person that, one, is going to get everyone going, but also that soft shoulder to lay on when things get tough. So learning to, one, know how to talk to my teammates, learn to know how they listen to certain ways, either that you have to get yelled at, you have to be instructed. It's important to know how your teammates learn to, from the person itself. But yeah, definitely after that semi-state loss last year, I really learned to be a true leader.
And then it takes a whole support system, Ben, and we could start at least in the football facility, if you will. What has this coaching staff, and more importantly, head coach Chris Skinner, meant to you during your time here?
One of the Coach Skinner's, sayings is that he wants to develop us into grown men, and he really takes that to the T. After leaving, I'll be leaving in 2 weeks, but after I set foot off this campus, I will know I am a prepared man who has, been obviously through Coach Skinner, but I've learned so many life lessons, not only through football, but through him. He's given me a lot of personal advice, a lot of life lessons, and I'm just very grateful for my time here. The coaching staff, is amazing here. There's nothing like that in the 219, and I firmly believe in that. The culture, the atmosphere here is amazing, and being able to come off this campus and say that I'm prepared to take on challenges outside of life is, important to me.
Ben, now you go from one all-star coaching staff to another, the Big Ten Coach of the Year, Coach Signetti down in Bloomington. Previously, you were committed to Wisconsin, and obviously now you are going to be a future Indiana Hoosier. What led to that? And obviously, how you mentioned 2 weeks, and you're going to be on campus down in Bloomington, or you'll be leaving here, I should say. That decision, Ben, and obviously gearing up for the future, which should be a fun one.
Indiana has always been on my radar, and they've always been on my radar. They would text me periodically, asking me how my season's going. Obviously, I was still committed to Wisconsin at the time. But I guess, my interest really sparked after the headlines of Coach Fickell being fired, who was my head coach there at Wisconsin. The headlines really got to me. I'm like, well, I want stability. And something I found out was at Indiana is stability. And that really led to my decision to committing to Indiana. The stability, the great coaching staff, the professionalism there is amazing. One of the first things that my parents and I remarked about after leaving Indiana on my first visit was their professionalism. Everything they do is with a purpose, and it's treated like a business, as it should be now. Obviously, college football is heading in that direction, and you can't hide from it. So they're taking that to their advantage, and that made me feel at home, knowing that they're going to make this as professional as possible.
And you won't be the only region guy down there as well. Your roommate, your future roommate, Crown Point's Trevor Gibbs will be down there as well. What's that like to take on this new challenge, this new chapter with another region guy like Trevor?
It's very exciting. He's always he's been on my tail. When we started to become friends, he was like, "Hey, you got to become a Hoosier. You got to become a Hoosier." I gave in a little bit. I was like, you know what? I'll take the visit and see if I like it. And I loved it. But I'm very excited. I'm excited for him and I. We're already talking about move-in day and all the exciting stuff that comes along with it. But yeah, it's nice knowing that I already know someone going in there. It won't be a ghost town. I'll know people. But yeah, it's very exciting.
I need a score prediction for Saturday's Big Ten championship game, a big one for IU and Coach Sig.
24-14 Hoosiers.
Any keys to victory, or
Mendoza
have a good game, or
yeah, got to run the ball, got to run the rock. Mendoza is going to do his thing. Heisman Mendoza.
Running the football, spoken like a true offensive lineman. Ben, I guess final question here, just more for a chance for you to give a bunch of shout-outs. We talked about the support system here, but there's many more people beyond what happens between or outside of Andrean High School. So anybody you want to shout out and to get you to this point here today, and again, the future Indiana Hoosier, and also, again, the recent state champion.
I have a couple shout-outs. Shout-out to my family, especially my parents. All this craziness, we thought we were going to be a Badger family, but they stuck with me, and I'm very thankful for everything they've done with me. Even before becoming a Badger, just with my recruitment, they always took me on these visits, and they always told me, whatever's best for you, and I love them so much. So that's shout out number one. Shout out to obviously coaching staff, unbelievable coaching staff here. Shout out to the Indiana Hoosiers. Shout out to my trainer, Nate Oquendo, out in O-Line Mafia in Naperville, Illinois. Shout out to my agent. He's made my family and I's, last couple of weeks lot less stressful. And shout out to the Andrean family. There's nothing like that around here.
Well, for the recent state champion and the future Indiana Hoosier, Ben Novak, I'm Mike Dewan. That's all from us here from Andrean High School. This is the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.